All right, now to add links to this table, we need to go to our movies table component. Here in the array of columns, we need to modify the first column and introduce the content property. Earlier, we used this to render custom content, such as a like component. Now we want to render a link component. So let's add content here. We want to render a link like this to /movies/ Now here we need to add the ID of the movie dynamically. So just like the other content properties, instead of passing an element here, we need to pass an arrow function that takes a movie. So movie goes to, now to render the ID of the movie here, now I'm going to remove this text here, instead pass curly braces. Inside the curly braces, I'm going to pass a template literal, so the backtick character. So our string is /movies/ and here we add an argument. So $, curly braces. What do we want to render? movie._id. That's what we need to have. Okay. Now in between the link tags, we need to render movie.title. So this is the end result. Our content property should be a function that takes a movie, renders a link. The to attribute is set to an expression. Here we have a template literal. If you're not familiar with template literals, you really need to take my JavaScript Basics for Beginners course. But basically we use them to dynamically insert values into a string. So here we're adding movie.id, and finally we render movie.title. Now, before going any further, we need to import the link component on the top. So import link from React Router DOM. Now back in the browser, our links are rendered properly, beautiful. If we click them, you can see the URL is updated and we have the ID of the movie in the route. Now we need to register a new route for this movie details page. So let's go to app.js. Here's the route to the list of movies. Above that, I'm going to add a new route to our movie details page. So the path should be /movies/:id. And the component should be movie form. So let's import this on the top. Import movie form from component/movie form. Save the changes. Back in the browser, now you can see we are on the movie form. If you go back to the movies, we have the list of movies. Now finally, on the movie form page, we want to extract the ID from the URL and display it right here. So let's go to movie form component. Here we have a functional component. I'm going to destructure the props and grab the match property. Here we can render match.params.id. Save the changes. Now you can see the ID of the movie in the heading. Beautiful. And one last thing. Here we need to add a button and programmatically take the user to the movies page. So let's wrap everything with a div. Inside this div, I'm going to add a button with a couple classes, btn and btn-primary. Call it save. We handle the onClick event. Now here, because we have a functional component, we can't do this that handle save. So for now, we can pass an arrow function. Here we can work with the history object directly. First, we need to extract it from our props object. So we grab history and then call history.push, and the address is /movies. That's all we have to do. Save the changes. So here's the end result. Now back in the browser, click save. We're back in the list of movies.